The Nigerian Labour Congress NLC headquarters was raided by security agents reportedly on Wednesday night, sparking widespread condemnation. The Department of State Services, DSS, denies involvement, but the NLC described the incident as dangerous to the nation's democracy and called for an international inquiry.
The raid has been condemned by various individuals and organizations, including former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, Amnesty International, and the International Trade Union Confederation, ITUC. The NLC has directed its employees to stay away from the office and is demanding answers on who carried out the raid and why. We're joined this morning by the former Deputy President, NLC, Comrade Amechi Asugwuni. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. You're welcome.
All right. Can you give us a picture of what exactly has happened? We're seeing multiple reports from the NLC and from the DSS denying involvement, but what information do we have concerning the raid?
It remained blind because to NSC, they believe strongly that nobody would have done that other than security agency under the command of federal government. And therefore, it remained a picture of threat to NSC as a body. That act is embarrassing. It's also, it tried to undermine the integrity of organized labor in Nigeria, where you did not write to NSC to come for inspection if there was anything as regarding information that is required to contradict security. So coming to invade the NSC premises, even at the odd hours, is suspicious to date. And the NSC is asking to know why what happened. Because if a clear answer is not given, they will continue to believe that they have planted something against the arrival of Congress leadership. And it's not fair for Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, but can you verify that, that raid was carried out by members of the DSS?
Because they did not come like armed robbers, and they appeared to be security agency, and because they didn't also come with any identified uniform to at least show that this is a particular agency in question. And we all know how DSS operate. And that is why the first point of call is on DSS. So them denying should also use the intelligence to tell us what happened. Because they will not also say that the wing of NSC in Abuja is also not covered by the security intelligence in that regard. So what happened? Could that be men, unknown gunmen? What are we saying? So security agencies should deploy the intelligence to tell Nigeria what happened and why did it happen. Because if they had come to rob NSC, the question is, what will you rob from Congress office? Are you coming to carry their chair or table? Because it's not a bank. It's not a place whereby you rob of furniture or whatever. So people will wonder, nobody would have done that other than a recognized security agency coming for a purpose. And don't forget, one is for invasion to be done to plant. Invasion can also be done to discover. So nobody had known what they have come to do. So Congress strongly, because of their innocence to whatever allegation they may try to claim, is now insisting that they should tell them what they have come to plant at their secretariat. Because should anything happen after today, there's no two ways. Even the international community will support Congress to allege that the first suspect, the principal suspect in this regard is security agents.
Do we know exactly?
But they got their way through to the office.
Do we know exactly what was in the materials that were carted away? Because just like that tweet showed, it said the report said that they got to the 10th floor and then they ransacked all the properties. According to the report by spokesperson Benson Okpai, said the heavily armed security operatives broke into the 2nd floor and ransacked the bookshop. So we're seeing here the tweet 2nd floor and 10th floor. He said they ransacked the bookshop, carting away hundreds of books and other publications. that they claimed they were looking for seditious materials used for the End Bad Governance protest. So do you have an idea what were in the materials that were carried away by these operatives?
No, I may not. In fact, even the HOD information that I spoke to you, the best in Outcry, is saying so because it's difficult until they carry out due inspection of what was taken away. That is when you can ascertain document that they would have claimed or they would have gone away with. But I tell you, when you say you are looking for seditious document or materials used for embargo, one would wonder, was NSC behind the organizers for such bad government protests? And if NSC choose to, what material are we looking at? What are you looking at as material worse than the protest that is being carried out? Evidence of what protest is saying is the speech made by organizers of protesters. So trying to distract Nigerians by undermining a reputable organization like NLC goes a long way to tell us that there is also a threat to Nigerian integrity, because whatever we do, it's not limited to the borders of this country. It's beyond. And we shouldn't give such impression that anybody can wake up and do anything in democracy, meaning we are not protected. NLC should be protected as a reputable organization in this country that has the voice of many Nigerians, and then you don't just attack a building for purposes of what you think is security reason. Because no matter what, why are they now shy in taking responsibility? Because they also know the implication. Probably because they didn't get anything they needed. Maybe somebody would have informed them wrongly and they went to the wrong place. And in order not to express that kind of disappointment in professionalism, and somebody is saying they are denying their involvement. The question is, who did it?
Yeah.
So I think NLC will do everything possible to ascertain other materials beyond books, whether there are other valuables that were also taken away, because you never can tell until the whole department head take account of what is missing in their respective department before we actually know what is actually missing.
Yeah. Also, let's also speak about the one of the reasons that the NLC's report is saying might be or might have led to, of course, this raid. Do you know what extent of support the NLC had for the End Bad Governance protest?
To the best of my knowledge, End Bad Government protest, which is still ongoing, is a protest organized and enforced by Nigerians. And like I said in my previous press release, nobody should make effort to deny, discourage, or even frustrate effort to protest, because it's constitutional. So NLC has right to support protest if they wish to, and they also have right to withhold their support if they don't also wish. But I tell you, the ongoing protest has nothing to do with personalizing it to institution or individual. Anybody, including me, can lead a protest. I've led protests in the past, and I'm not tired. I'm willing to lead protests that will bring better governance to Nigeria. So nobody should threaten anybody or try to now be handpicking people because they are advocating for good governance. No, the protest is not seeking to remove anybody in power. The protest is seeking to address economic issues. And I think they should focus their energy in responding to the demand of Nigerians and not to create this kind of distraction that has no result to Nigeria. No, NLC have right to support protests, and they even have right to initiate. Don't forget, when we talk about bad governance, we talk about policies that negate the well-being of the people. And when we talk about well-being of the people, we're referring to Nigerian workers. And that is the core mandate of NLC, defending the right and the interest, welfare of their members. And any policies that make life hard for their people, they should do everything within their constitution and legitimacy to
All right,
ensure
permit me to
that
interject at this
bad
point because
policies
I
don't
want you to
prevail.
clarify something for us. You said the NLC has the right to support the protest. Now, earlier we did see publications where the NLC dissociated itself from the protest. So are you saying now that the NLC supported the End Bad Governance protest?
Maybe you didn't understand. They have right to, and I emphasize, NLC have right is different from NLC supported. NLC have right to initiate even protest, not to even support, to initiate and lead a protest from the front. So if they choose not to, in this regard, they have released publication, they have released their position that in this protest they are not behind it, neither are they taking part. So if NLC did not take part and they are still investigating NLC whether they took part, it may even provoke NLC to deliberately take part. And I'm saying they have right if they choose to do so.
Okay, so you've highlighted now that the NLC, from what I get, they have the right, but they did not support the End Bad Governance protest. All right. Let's talk about...
I mean, share with us, is there a reason why they didn't support the protest?
I may not tell, but from experience, I would imagine that they just concluded the national minimum wage and it was signed into law less than 1 month. And therefore, having concluded negotiation with the government, don't forget, they were threats to shut down operation before the minimum wage was signed. So concluding a minimum wage and then joining a protest after 2 weeks does not seem reasonable for them. So even though the hardship protest is still legitimate and timing, but to them it was not timing to join because don't forget, NLC is an organization. It's not just the protest is about the people. NLC is about the institution. So they have a constitution, they have a policy that guide their action. So I believe they would have been justified by one thing at a time. So concluding negotiation and going into struggle or protest may not align because some of these things entails money.
And is there a possibility that
they are working with time?
And is there a possibility that if the DSS still insists that it had no hand in this attack of the or this raiding of the NLC headquarters, that the NLC might then decide to go on the protest?
No, first thing is not protest. First thing, NLC, I believe in their options, should be considering writing to the entire agencies of government to actually tell them what happened and why it happened. The NLC cannot fold their hand. NLC have qualified lawyers and other department heads that will make serious undertaking to ensuring that they get to the root of the matter. What has happened is not simple. It's very sensitive because before that act was carried out, there must be a strong directive from the top. No commissioner of police can dare Nigeria Labour Congress. So certainly that must be ordered from above. And therefore, NLC would want to investigate to the extent of meeting with the IG and every other security apparatus in ensuring that we don't just say, let the bygone be bygone. Nothing is bygone until they actually review what happened. So they will take steps to know what happened. And if it's now targeted that it was done to undermine Congress, they may request for apology or maybe it may result to a warning protest so that it doesn't also repeat. I know Congress that those options are not far from what they may consider. But for now, it's a security matter. It's sensitive to talk of protest now. Rather, they have to know the source that actually did it because don't forget, there could be camera around that area to take recognition of faces. If I thought the local security could not in their capacity dictate the agency proper. Further investigation through neighborhood and all the rest may give solution as they come by because today, I believe before the end of today, we will get more information regarding what happened.
All right. Comrade, thank you so much for joining us. And we must mention that the NLC has strongly criticized the government's response to the protest, stating that there needs to be investigation done and that the loss of lives be accounted for. We've just been joined by the former Deputy President of the NLC, Comrade Amechi Asugwuni. Thank you for your time with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right.